watching around the world from the capital city of 1980. It's time for some rap, yeah.
100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society and finds himself in exile in his own land.
People have invaded or been invaded. This is another thing to wipe out the memory of their history until they themselves not only forget, but begin to preach and to propagate the same fictions about themselves that others have propagated.
Well, this is the big one. I'm coming to join you, honey.
All of what we became and our greatness and fell is coming back to us in a whole new format.
It's the Street Gospel. And here's the star of our show and your host.
What's going on? It is Sunday Fun Day. Hits 92.3, the real definition of internet radio. It is the Street Gospel Show. And of course, it is out of modern day mystic with the mystique, his most excellent Brandon David L. in the building. I'm joined today with my two homeboys, and we got a couple special guests. So first, let's get this out the way. To my left, of course, we got my man D-Mos. D-Mos was popping.
What's good?
Chilling. How you living? How you been? You missed last week.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
It's good to be back, man. It's good to see you back in your place. I had to sit there. It wasn't my space. I feel better where I'm at now. Yes, sir. Yeah, I do, man. It's good. It's nice. Back down memory, right where I need to be, man. It's nice. Anyway, how you living? You good?
Man, I'm good. I like these new chairs too.
I know. I said that last week about the chairs.
Like a nice, elegant touch.
Shout out to Kale. She said that the chairs. Somebody said the chairs was too feminine. I was like, man, it's a nice touch. Purple royalty, man. It's all good. Phoenicia.
It is feminine,
yes,
but I'll take the padding over the wood.
Yes, any day of the week. Any day of the week. All right. So in front of him, we got my man, the backhanded God, Thrice Dust. What's popping, man?
Salutations, my good brother. How are you?
Salutations. What's going on, man? Always so uniquely.
You looking like you fresh out the barber, dog.
It's just fresh out my bathroom, brother. But
okay,
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for noticing. Thank you for taking the time.
I thought we was gonna roll right out of here and hit the spot.
Hey, man, we might have to.
Yeah,
we might have to.
The
general's in town, man. We might have to go. We might have to go do something. A-Town's fun. Yeah. So, of course, like I said, we have a special guest in the building, and we're gonna jump right into it since we have two guests today. Normally we would do a couple little segments, but we're gonna skip all that. We're gonna get to the good stuff right away. So, with no further adduction, we have the brother GeneralHail in the building. Now, do you like to go by your full name as well?
That's the perfect name you just used.
Okay, that works. GeneralHail. Now, I want to know where the name came from. That's my first question before we get anything else. I was like, where did he get this? Because it's not spelled Hell, one like the Norse god. It's not spelled like that in the first place. Mm-hmm. It's spelled like Hail. Like or Heil.
Like Hail to the King.
Hail to the King, right? Word. So where did the name come from, brother?
The name originated, I started getting called Razor, like Razor Sharp, in high school. And that started off as a rap name. Past high school, into college, and other.
Turn his mic up a little bit. Get the mic up.
I started getting into graphic design, web design, a service provider. You know what I'm saying? So I started the company Razor Sharp Designs. So Razor Sharp Designs and Media. So from there, we ventured over into the conscious community, and it became GeneralHail.
Okay.
So it just elevated from different variations of that.
Okay.
But it's always been the variations of Razor.
Okay, so basically you a sharp brother.
Yeah, I try. I gotta stay sharp.
Gotta stay sharp.
I gotta stay sharp.
I like that. I like sharp brothers. That's what only thing I try to have come up here is sharp brothers and sisters. Yeah. So, when did you enter into the conscious element? When did the conscious element, like, how did you come into consciousness? So you were doing your thing, and then walking along the road like Saul and turned into Paul, or like how are we doing this?
Honestly, that's always been on my path. So I was always in search for higher self. You know what I'm saying? I thought the things I used to go through as a kid was regular.
Yeah.
Like I seen the spirits. You know what I'm saying? Spirits used to come to me at night. walking through the doors and stuff like that. I'm swinging at them with Fisher Price bats. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it was with me. Right. And I realized that it ain't a lot of people like me. Right. You know, that's why I gravitate towards my other God brothers and God sisters across the country. That's why I travel, you know, to meet up with my other God brothers so we can join in union together. Because if they not one of us, they one of them.
No, that's facts. That's definitely facts. So consciousness was always with you, the knowledge of self. How did you decide to, because you do a unique thing in the conscious space, right?
Yeah.
You know, you don't sell herbal infused teas or, you know, things of these natures. You do a different thing.
Yeah, right? I have things of that nature too.
Right, which it seems like everyone does, but you have another gear that a lot of people don't have, which is a business aspect and a commercial aspect that's very interesting, which is your main forte, right?
Absolutely.
And so when did you always been a sharp brother, when did you see a need here, or when did you come across the information to then provide this information to others and the need of the information? When did you see this being something?
I started off about 12, 13 years ago, as far as going into the information, realizing that things is not really what they seem to be. Right. You know what I'm saying? Understanding, you know, the metaphysics behind things. You know what I'm saying? So that's when I got to the point where I can't even go to the show and just enjoy it. I'm coming to the movies with a notepad because I know they putting the stuff right in front of us. You know, because the truth lies right in front of you. Right. You see what I mean? So it came from that, and that, you know, I kind of sheltered myself, you know, into a black hole, because, you know, when we first come across certain information, you go through different emotions, as far as, you know, fear, anger, you know, because you start thinking of, you as a man, I gotta protect my kids from the world that we're in. I'm realizing all type of stuff. So, you know, I went from that, then I got out of that hole. Some people never make it out that hole. Right. And I got out of that hole and started learning how to still enjoy things and to manifest and create the world within the world. You see what I mean? Right. And knowing how to navigate, you know, within and outside the matrix per se. Right. So that's when I realized, like, all right, then I get over to other information, you know what I'm saying, the history of things. I dipped and dabbed into the, you know, to the some more science and just general history of things. But I seen issues inside the information, as far as it's a pros and cons to everything. We in a new world where we all have access to information. It's not back in the days where we walk up to each other, hey brother, you got the new book? You got the new book? You know what I'm saying? We got to slide each other pages out of the manuals or whatever like that. So I see the issue is that people don't graduate. So if I hand a person a book today, that person might not ever leave that book. It was only it was only meant for you to get a key out the book and graduate and keep moving. All the answers not in one book. It's impossible. You see what I mean?
It's funny you say that. We was just discussing this, how in consciousness I find that people get caught in they get pigeonholed.
They get caught,
and they're supposed to keep going, matrix. But they get stuck in because it's a room within a room within a room, right? And they think, oh no, I made it out. It's like, nah, brother, you still got. It's like, oh, you haven't hit. I'll talk to people and they be like, yeah, I'm on this, and I'm like, you ain't got to this yet. And they're like, oh, it's like, bro, it's a whole nother room.
It can't be it, no.
I'm like, nah, baby, it's a whole nother room.
It can't be it, no.
Yeah, it's like.
Can't be.
And that's the thing I tell people is, once you understand that, you understand what real knowledge and seeking knowledge is really all about. You're never done.
And then at the end of the day, it's like I can identify where a person is at if they have to go towards something to identify self. Like people that get into the crystals and stuff like that, the oils. Like, hold on, before I walk up in this room, let me like.
The way they need it.
You have to build yourself to be able to walk in any room and based on your aura. Right. You see what I mean?
Universe
it's like and you don't even know that you the one that empower the crystals.
Facts.
Is it you the device?
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So that's what people be getting lost to. It's like, so you still separating the true light of self.
In martial arts, they say you are the weapon. The what we call weapons are just tools, but the person is the weapon. Without the person, the knife just sits on the table.
Every godfather of the art of martial art, and rest in peace to Bruce Lee, it was a greater philosopher than a martial artist.
Facts.
Always said it's not the art or the form. It is you.
Correct.
Right. Period.
Correct.
People don't even never understand that,
That's
which
fact.
is why he went from style to style to style to style to style to style. Jeet Kune Do. This is it. I perfected it. They were like, you know what? It still ain't it. It's all about me. End of the day, can you digest the information and forget about it and just live it? quick.
That's the thing, man. Is once you study to a point, it sits in. It gets to. I told my son this the other day. I said it'll start up here, and you'll have all kind of stuff here, and at some point you'll notice that the real stuff sits here. It's in your heart, and once it's there, and there's no way to forget it. There's no way that it's with you, and it's the truth once it gets to that heart level. But getting information to the heart level takes a lot of repetition, a lot of sitting, a lot of work that people don't really like to put in. It seems
you even
in
have
our
to
modern
open
society.
up your heart space to
even open up your heart enough. Haven't opened up mind to open up your heart enough.
Place,
right?
Too.
It's a very vulnerable.
You know what I'm saying? That's a vulnerable place.
Fact.
And the thing is that I believe the issue is that people don't know how to actually live it because and I think I see this in a lot of women mostly where they become positive, you know, positive, where to the point where
peace and light, brother.
They can't even be around the curse word. That's not not, you know what I'm saying?
It's too much.
That's
you're going to miss a lot of good information. A lot of brothers going to.
Because now you could be receiving a message, but you can't even, you're not at a space to even receive a message because you're too busy. You know, it's like, you're going off a word. What is a word?
Right.
And what classifies the definition of that word?
Right.
You see what I mean?
Right.
We got words that mean something, maybe perceived as negative here. We go to another country, it means something else.
Right. Yeah. Whose definition
perception is key.
Yeah.
And we lost behind time. We don't even know what time it is.
That's 100% true. I just tell him. I was just talking to him. I was like, man, do you know the Egyptian year, at least the Coptic Egyptian year, is 6262, and that's September 11th is the new year for the Egyptian calendar. Right. I was like, that's funny that September 11th is the new year for the Egyptian. Anyway, we ain't gonna get into that. But you know what that means. But them boys know that. You know, they know what the real calendar count is. It's just, we have no clue how much they've altered time. Even though in all the movies, they keep discussing the time conversation.
They always do that.
In all the movies.
You got movies like Inception.
Have you seen Tenet yet?
What's it called?
Did you go see his new one, Tenet, yet? It's called Tenet. Oh, with Denzel
Washington. You ain't seen
Tenet? Brother, you gotta go. Y'all need to go see that for y'all leave, man. I went and saw that on like a 1.5. Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
Tenet.
That's my homework.
It's in theaters right now.
It's monsters movie. Yeah.
I got you.
Matter of fact, me and KT, shout out to KT, the arts degree. We will be dropping a Tenet decoded soon. So.
Oh snap.
Yeah, it's hard, man. It's hard, brother. It's hard.
So y'all be waiting for those new releases to come out.
Man, I had to go back through. Because as you study more and more, you get more information. So I had to go back through the Marvels. I had to go back and watch Winter Soldier because I'm tying in all the Beetlejuice information that's going on right now, and I'm going, wait, Bucky was Winter Soldier. He had the star on his shoulder. He's the Orion, and I'm going through I'm like, man, listen, man. You know what I'm saying? So it's fun, man. I get excited to learn
up
stuff
on that
like
American Gods?
Yeah. American. Oh, listen, you talking about? I'm mad. I'm waiting for season 3. My mom's probably listening right now. She's like, "That's my show."
They playing with it, man. I get like, come on, man, stop playing, man. Give us either Billions, American Gods, Blacklist. They got the Lovecraft Country.
Lovecraft.
Right
that's
now.
a dope
They
series.
doing some.
I mean, it's that time though, and they know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? I think the problem is that we don't necessarily know.
They know it's that time. So much that time. They have to give it to us full, like
raw, it's begrudgingly as hell,
and uncut. But the tactic of it being so raw and uncut now is the fact that they're gonna perceive as what entertainment.
Right. Yeah. It's just gonna get shelved as. Not necessarily
the science fiction.
Yeah, it's just science fiction, and black folks immediately will shelve some science fiction in the heartbeat. Like, oh, that's just some stuff.
But still be living out a movie subconsciously anyway, in a lot of their behavior.
Hey man, vote like your life depended.
Like we just
Did y'all see the sign coming off the highway?
I seen that sign. That was a huge sign. Yeah.
Well, I'm like, and this the hood. You know what I'm saying? And to have that right there, like just scaring people, vote like your life depended on it. It actually didn't say like, it said vote. Your life depends on it.
Oh, see.
Biden.
Harris. Yeah. Y'all not really doing the science, man.
Yeah,
that's too deep right there.
All right, so let's get into some of this actual stuff, man, because I was doing some research, watching stuff on YouTube, and I got like a million questions about what you do, man. look, I'm like, bro, I might come up right now, like, so. All right, so so the UCC, you the man for that. If I want to know how to fully get my UCC done, my financial papers, everything set up properly to where I can move as a commercial entity properly here.
I think you should explain what a UCC is.
Well, I'm sorry. One of y'all ask, because I know what it is. So I'm just saying.
Will you ask? You explain. You already just say.
Well,
General, what is
I'll say I know nothing at all. I don't know nothing.
Facts.
I know nothing. But
right.
I do have experience.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? So what I do is, don't you know how you got like those scholar guys that can read 1,000,000 books?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna tell you how many, but it's like I have a certain way of just connecting to the ethers, to the spirit, where it's like a manual might fall in my lap. It could be 1,000,000
exactly
pages.
what you're talking about.
And I'll
one
throw
page
it in the
opens
air
up.
to fall. I know it's gonna, whatever page you land on, that must be what I need to understand from this book.
You talking about real spirit?
And I'm tossing it back.
Yeah.
I'm not getting lost. I don't got time to get locked into one particular thing because it's too much ground to cover.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So now, as far as UCC, man, based on the people that's been delivering this information, they really turned this into like some type of rocket science type. That's why nobody gets it. Everybody's talking about it, but nobody gets it. It's simple. You know what I'm saying? But we start off with this. We got a few different things, no matter what, that everybody is related to in business. That's contracts, commerce, and credit. So when somebody asks me what industry you in, I say I'm in your industry.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not acknowledging contracts, credit, and the act of commerce and transacting and the art of transaction, that commerce, that currency, that's the current flow of energy. Right. It goes out. I send it his way. It go his way. It got to come back full circle.
Right. My mother calls it money. She calls it my own net energy yield.
I like that.
Calls it.
I like that, bro. That's what it's all about. UCC is simply reserving your rights on a per contract basis, and on a per property basis. So if you go buy a car, it's a certain way how we supposed to contract. All of us are contractors, no matter if we realize that or not, because we always signing something.
Right.
We always signing something.
Facts.
You know, every day, and a lot of things we sign unconsciously without even understanding the disclosures and agreements. You know,
Facts.
based on the internet and all these apps and stuff like that. You know, we just say, yeah, I accept, I agree, and that's how they get over and get us the contract and make us liable for things. So the whole point of the whole scenario is knowing how to navigate, conduct business, and separate yourself from the entity. The entity is the name tied to that number, which is the numbers that was on the matrix. When Cypher was looking at the screen, and Neo was like, "Hey, how do you know blase blah blase blah?" He said, "Oh, that's blonde hair, blah blah blah. That's such. There's different categories of people because just like they can categorize you based on your zip code, geographic location, stuff like that. That was identifying the social security number. Right. So the social security number is a number. It's like your tracking device. That's why they know where you bank at, where you're employed, XYZ. Now once you detach yourself from that number and you start using private numbers that you create, that you're the creator and controller. They don't want us to remember that we are the creators and controllers.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? They want us to use and utilize their creations for their benefits, which is why we go. My first area of study that I went hard on was travel, because I got tired because of my experience of constantly getting arrested 20-30 times for suspended driver's license or dumb traffic
and
related
that's a hot
things.
issue for a lot of folks. That's one of the first things, like, so because they hear the more stuff and they're like, so y'all saying we don't need driver's license, and then people immediately go to, but I'm like, well, I remember in the military they gave us an international driver's license, and I looked at it and I was like, so wait, you can have a driver's license from any random municipality anywhere and they'll issue you a driver's license to drive anywhere else in the world? You ain't even got to learn how to drive on the right side of the road. You just need. Did you ever thought about that when y'all went to Korea?
No, I always thought about that.
That was so weird to me. I was like, so I could just have any random Native American tribal license and I can get an international driver's license, and now I can drive anywhere. Yeah, and these I saw on your page. These are ridiculous. So I got some.
So how do we
look,
that's what we're here for.
Let
him give us the information.
He's showing his personal identifications, and yeah, man, like I got so many more questions. We would have to do another show. After this.
I'll break down the science of traveling, and that'll help. This applies to any other form of contracting and how we waive our rights. Right. So all this is based on utilizing our rights and protecting our rights. Okay. Period. You know what I'm saying? So the right to travel is like one of the most important rights. We have to understand how to because they stop no movement.
Right.
You ever been on house arrest before? You know what I'm saying? You can't navigate, you can't move. That's the you looking outside, your man's in them outside hooping. You looking through the what's names like a child.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Hoping they come by the window.
When I was on house arrest, I can go 100 feet past my box. You know, they coming to get me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we have to be able to go from point A to point Z. Period.
Fact.
You know what I'm saying? So that's an interference of commerce if you can't go from point A to point Z. You know, so it's simple like this. The game is they have to give us they have to give you your God-given rights. They have to do that. But they find tactful ways to get you to waive those rights.
Voluntarily giving up your own.
Contractually.
So
So we all know that based on us taking our Constitution in 8th grade, right? That we had a right to travel.
Right.
We remember that.
Right.
We never forgot it. Right. So at what point it did not say nowhere in that clause you have a right to travel if you have a driver's license.
Right.
It didn't say that.
Right.
It said you have a right to travel. So okay, this is what they do. They switch up the words and redeliver the words as if it's the same thing. So they say you need a driver's license. The Constitution say nothing about driving.
Right.
Driving is a commercial
act.
Commercial
Correct.
name. You know what I'm saying? So now you went from a traveler to a driver. So now they have the right to assume that you're operating in commerce every time you get in that vehicle.
Correct.
Instead of being your personal private conveyance traveling from point A to point Z.
Right.
So what happens is they because everybody's in your face, everybody around you got to get their driver's license.
Right.
You know, got this. They prep you in school, driving permit, driving.
Oh yeah, they lead you right to it. Like you just gotta get that.
And the thing about it is they actually give us all the answers in all the game. The truth always lies right in front of you. If it sounds rocket science, that means that they're manipulating you in some type of way because it's very simple.
Right.
You know, and
they love to make it sound like rock. They love to make everything. Even spirituality, when I get it, I'm like, we do a lot of this naturally. They got all these steps and moves, and we talk about this all the time. Like, what is this?
They get so caught up in, psychologically, it's a psychological game. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The thing is, they gave us the Constitution prematurely. The Constitution should have been mandated in college because that's the time where you're actually applying these things. You're actually operating in commerce.
Yeah, it was hocus pocus.
You didn't give a care about the Constitution in 8th grade. You only wanted to remember the answers to pass
it.
Test.
With the test, right?
Yeah, I didn't care.
So by the time it applied to you, you don't know how to connect 1 plus 1.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
Most folks don't remember the branches of government, let alone
how it applies. In law, and law is so we got attorneys and lawyers. Everybody, it's mandatory for everybody have a general understanding of law. This is mandatory.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter if you in legal studies or not. So we waived our right to travel in exchange for a privilege to drive.
Right.
So now when they pull you over, they run them plates, they see that it's registered. When you register means to give ownership to. So you purchase a vehicle, you actually gave ownership over to the state, becomes state property. That's why they give you
all the time about marriage. I go, you gave your marriage up to the state, which is why they can come in and do all that stuff, because they gave you back. You gave them a paper and they gave you back a slip. And they have your paper, which means they own it.
Congratulations.
I was like, why would I ever go set up something with them again?
Now we're in between both of y'all affairs.
Right.
You see what I mean?
All in your business.
All in your business.
Oh boy, just got Jesse. I think the light skinned brother that gave the speech at BT just got hit, what, $40,000 a month child support?
Crazy like
Damn. $40,000 a month.
And
just because you wanted to go let them boys be involved.
Grey's Anatomy is not that good. What show is he on? Ain't that the show that?
He was on Grey's. I don't know. We better find a new show now.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We don't think nothing is valid if the state is not involved.
Right.
The state.
Say it again,
when we find.
Ladies, please listen.
And if they don't, if the woman does not get that, that's a conflict of interest, and you now are a liability.
Oh man, I almost stood up out my chair. But look,
but they love the state though.
They love
the state.
The state, they boyfriend.
Get your ass.
They love the state.
Right.
State. Right.
Hey, the state, the husband.
That's
You just
really
a side
what it
nigga.
is.
State.
That's really what it is.
They call it state on you quick.
You know what I'm saying?
The state, the husband. You just a side nigga. I mean?
The state is the husband.
Yeah, that's all she care about.
That's the way it was designed.
That's all she
They
care
purposely removed us and made us.
That is the first person that they run back to, and they claim independent. Not to bash on the women. I'm talking about
not at all, sisters. We just having fun, ladies.
Certain facts to certain mind frames of certain category of women.
None of the women that listen to this, of course.
Right. Even though we still get a little bashing on this.
Yeah.
But the truth hurts.
That's facts, man. So people are sitting there, they're going, wait, so you're telling me that there's a way right now I'm some type of entity, because a lot of people don't know none of this information.
So what would be the first steps to take to even start to reclassify yourself or to...
Well, look, I know that's... I don't want to cut off your question. That's a deep process, I believe. Can you just explain to us...
Nah, me, and my brother, and a lot of we simplify that.
Right.
It's more to it than that, but I don't just get on just be reading y'all off stuff from a manual.
Right.
We already established our own DMV, our own private DMV.
Right.
We've already reestablished a micronation outside of United States jurisdiction and corporation. You know what I'm saying? The reason why the information don't work because we claim all this independence, but we don't have any independent organization to operate independently outside the corporation. Right. So it's a conflict of interest. So everybody bumping their guns about this, and that, but everybody, the results that we see is people getting locked up, talking about I got the right to travel, officer. Here go my paperwork.
That actually was my roommate at one point.
Here's what I found with this all the time was that you can't, from what I'm gathering with this, you can't show up claiming that you're in your divine natural right, your true self, whatever, and then have all their stuff though.
Your place is, I ran your place is registered to the person that's registered to
and then
them
you're like,
that has the driver's license, which means you waive your rights to travel.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And you happen to be suspended.
Right. And you go, y'all don't got jurisdiction. It's like, well, it seems like
you do have.
Seems like we got jurisdiction.
And they want to blame them. You can't. At some point, we got to take responsibility.
Facts.
You got to know how to operate.
Right.
They do have jurisdiction.
They do.
Right.
Until you have established yourself properly.
If you got to be all the way in or all the way out.
Right.
Because they will. You can have private plates. You can have the vehicle not registered to you. All that other good stuff. And you can allow them to search the vehicle and they can find the driver's license up under the seat, and they gonna presume jurisdiction based on that. We found the contract.
Right.
Once they found the contract, it's over with, because most of the time, most of our driver's licenses have our personal information which we should never have, which is where we live. Where you live is private. Your address is the first and most important areas of status correction, which a lot of the geniuses, gurus not mentioning. Your address. Your address. It's two words that sound the same, that spelled alike, right? Address and address, right?
Right.
So if you give a person your address, that means they have the right to address you. That means they can serve you. They can do this, do that.
It's like giving somebody your open port.
Do you got the mayor's address? Do you got any of these police officers' address?
No.
Do you got, or they operate in a legal capacity, or like lawyers teach us how to do it. It might be a lawyer that might be his actual name on his birth certificate, but it's actually operating up under a DBA. He's doing business as that.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Esquire,
Look, we are doing business, so none of this information gonna work if we don't understand business. The people think like once you file this UCC, I'm gonna be free. Describe. Tell me what is freedom. What is free? You still got to understand how to conduct business.
Right. Well, I think half the problem is most regular people sitting around are going, but I just go to work. I do like normal stuff. I'm not in business. They don't understand that the U.S. is a business, and therefore you're always conducting business as a U.S. citizen.
Thank you very much.
That's the only reason they got the right to be here from us.
Right.
Was because we gave them the right to come over here and do a little business.
Thank you very much.
Do a little business, kick back a little bread, do a little business. You know what I'm saying?
That's the exact same. That's my starting line when if I do like a business like lecture or something, and I have people in there that work 9 to 5 jobs. Yeah. I say everybody raise your hand that has a business, and only people that aren't
think they have a right. It's like nah, bro.
Every time you report for duty and punch that clock, you are providing a service. You are conducting business.
Yes, you are.
So you need to be getting paid in your business capacity in order to get credit for the time and equity that you're putting into this, and that's how you win. So now this is not personal income, this is business receivables.
Right. See, I think people, like I was saying, that shift that it takes in our community to go, okay, so I'm always in this system, in this United States government system, I'm always conducting business whether I like it or not. And so the faster I'm aware of this and the faster I reconsider the way I maneuver and the way I have myself established within this business environment, the better off I'm going to be for me and my family. But people don't seem to get I'm doing business. They just think I'm just a regular person, man. I don't really need to go do why I need to set up a trust. We just me and my kids and stuff. I'm just gonna get scholarship fund. I'm gonna go buy something. I own a house. I own a house that already. My brother, I own a house.
People, they sold us that.
They sold us fake ownership.
They sold us that.
Man.
People quit to say I own nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Own nothing. What? Control everything. Owe nothing. Demand everything.
Right.
You see what I mean?
I like that.
It's like
some Wu-Tang lyrics.
I tell people it's easy.
I'm with it.
Look, I put like in Chicago, right? This is perfect example because when you got to incorporate a business, it's public information. So you can go to the Secretary of State, boom, see who the owners are and stuff like that.
Right.
So I said, okay, well, everybody knows who Donald Trump is, right? Mm-hmm. So let's go downtown Chicago and say, there goes the Trump Towers. I guarantee you will not find Donald Trump name on the incorporation of that building or that business.
That'd be silly. Why would he put his name on that?
That would be silly, right?
That'd be silly.
So how come it won't be silly for us?
We would love ownership.
Right.
We were taught that was the way to do.
And
we get left holding the bag.
The thing about it, like Trump doesn't have his name on any of his hotels. He just licensed his name, that name, the Trump name. Right.
He's smart. He's true.
But he inherited that. His father was a beast.
Right.
His father was
did he have a trust fund?
What? He had multiple trust, family trusts, unincorporated associations. They were very tactful in wealth building or whatever like that. You know what I'm saying? And this is stuff that we have to pass on. But we don't think that we can we make enough to accumulate wealth. Me and bro was just like of what we see every day. You know what I'm saying? Like we sitting there watching our people spend all this money for bottle service, all this fashion design, all this other stuff. Then when it comes down doing something that you need to do to establish the wealth and sustain and protect the wealth for you and your family.
Right.
I can't afford it. That's too much. That's expensive.
Right.
Really?
That's the immediate thing. I don't know about all that. Like, bro, you was just popping the amount of money they spend here in Atlanta in the club.
That's just value systems at that point.
Right.
So where do you find value?
But I find that black folks, quote unquote, for lack of a better word at this point. I mean, I could use more, whatever. I find that when we if the white boy walked up and was like, yo, man, that's a way to get you set up. Well, all your business be taken care of. UCC, blah, 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 blah. Folks would be going. Oh man, blah blah blah, Forex trading. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile,
Billy said he can.
Yeah, like
give him all the money
on it. Meanwhile, if a brother shows up,
they gonna question
every single thing. Wait, so see, because I don't know.
First.
Yeah, like me. Now here's the thing. There's a lot to be said for, like you were saying, a lot of this information came out, and brothers were running a lot of different. Black folks will do all kind of stuff. So brothers had scams going. They were charging exuberant amounts of money for something that you could have did on your own. There was a lot of things happening. Yeah. And so people did get scared back from it to a degree, the folks who were aware of it. But so many other folks don't even care to hear it. And it's like, man, you don't have to be limited to the way that we go about doing business. So right now in the community, everybody wants an LLC. I saw a meme, don't get your girl a Birkin bag, get an LLC. And I'm like, well, you should probably get a trust.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Like you should get a trust.
A trust that's owned by the LLC.
Right. And then ladies, if the brother gets you a trust first, that's a smart brother. You need to, that brother knows something. If you go, no, I'm gonna get you the trust first. That's a winner right there. Right. But most sisters, he say the trust, she gonna be like, I don't know, he talking about so-and-so getting me an LLC set up. I'm gonna send that to the Secretary of State. And get my business license, and they don't get
the trust in essence becomes the new you.
Right. Well, let's explain trust briefly for everybody who's listening.
All right. So real quick. You know what? Yeah. All right. Real quick. So, you have a few main trusts. Mm-hmm. So you have a revocable trust and irrevocable trust, right? Which are the most popular. So, real quick, an irrevocable trust can be looked at as like a box, or a vault. So it doesn't have the ins and out privileges. You know what I mean? So this is something that you would use as something that you're trying to hold and protect, over time or whatever. So that means that if you're into purchasing a property like a vehicle, a vehicle is something that you might want to resell. So it wouldn't be in the best interest to use a irrevocable trust in that in that transaction. And everything people are like, well, how do I fund my trust? How do I title? It's all about title. So instead of titling it to your name, you title it to the trust name, and the trust number instead of your name and your social security number. So now it's in the name of the trust, and you are the controller and beneficiary and or trustee of that trust. You see what I mean? So you just control everything. Now if it's a revocable trust, that means it's in and out privileges. So this is what you use to navigate in. You see what I mean? Or you have a grantor trust, which is classified by the IRS as your business trust. I probably should have said that because I got a lot of but that's your grantor trust. So that's what we typically do business in. That's what people do. We customize that for real estate and things like that. You can have a trust for anything. Like we have gun trust. So a gun trust, that's another law. We have a right to bear arms, right? But now they switched it up and said now you need a permit or a license to conceal and carry. You know what I'm saying? So that's not bearing arms. The only way you can legally bear arms is through trust. Because we waived the right based on the ownership of the gun. So when we bought the gun
and we signed that
and we registered the gun, so ownership is liability and registration is to give ownership to. Right. So now those laws don't apply.
Even though they're not supposed to have a registry of gun ownerships, but they do by making you have to register a firearm.
And now they add this concealed and carry and blah 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 blah. So they do not like talking about gun trust because the problem is that we remove yourself from the ownership. So now the trust owns it. And now the trustees and the trustees of the trust have the right to bear the arms within the trust.
So you could have an entire armory.
You can have a gun trust for your family, like such and such family gun trust, and now we're one family. We all trustees over that trust. So we have a particular license that comes from the AFT, and this gives us, like, we have to get pulled over, whatever like that. This gives us the legal right to be able to bear the arms that's owned by the trust. But that person got to be with you at all times. Remember, this is a real person. So if police pull you over and you got the arms with you, you have to have that card and you have to have that trust, which is the paperwork. The paperwork. You're the trustee.
But you have to have the paperwork.
If the paperwork is not in the car with you, that person is missing. You know what I'm saying? So that could be a conflict of interest, and you probably can get in trouble for that.
So the paperwork is
dealing with the guns. That person got to be on.
So how many people can be in a trust?
There's really no limitations.
There's no limits. So,
but be careful who's the trustee over that. See, trust is something we got a problem with.
See, we was just talking about this in the car. I was like, think about it. I was like, all business is done through trust first. I was like, you can't get anything done without a trust. As far as just a personal trust has to be formed. I was like, so it's the basis of all.
We was never supposed to fall out of trust.
Right.
They put it on the dollar. In God we trust.
Fact. It is very much on the dollar. That's definitely.
They told you two things. I
never even thought about that.
They told you two things on the dollar bill. In God we trust. So God is what? The religious, the church. So we want to establish the perfect structure. We establish the church first. And inside the trust holds the trust.
That's the science. Yeah, right there. That's it.
I'm with you.
So what can a trust do? A trust doesn't only accepts donations. So now we're dealing with what? Tax benefits, tax breaks. We accept gifts, tithes, offerings.
And you just open up so many questions.
Right.
That's all I'm like.
That's
questions for days.
Actually, he answered a lot of questions too.
I told you it was gonna be a good show.
Well, not everything to set up is still, or how to. My whole thing is just to start the process in general of certain things, but mainly for the drive-in. Let's get all the contact information out there real quick. Do a couple more questions.
Okay. Well, my Instagram is Hail2Razor, HAIL 2 RAZOR. My main company that establishes the trust and the company structures and all that good stuff is Trey Capital. That's TRE Capital.world. CAPITAL. So that's where you go. The 1-800 number is 888-597-8825, extension 101 for Trey Capital. You'll notice that's a lot of extensions when you call, about 13 of them. Those are my 13 companies that offer different things.
All right.
So just press whatever one relates to you.
For sure. Okay, so let's get into the tribal aspect of this.
Okay.
So I'm assuming you set up trust first, and then you rolled into this other aspect. When did you get to that where you was like, I'm gonna do
the tribal?
I'm gonna do tribe of Malachi.
All right, so look, my brother right here, that's the chief right there, right?
Oh yeah, we already yeah.
So I had to get a lot of game from him on now what direction I wanted to go in, and he know me. I like if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it,
right,
and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna change the game on it. You know what I'm saying? And it just, first of all, it came out right now because it had to come out right now because I knew what I do is I sit back. And we got to be in tune with self, but not so in tune with self where we don't realize what's going on around us. So we got to, in order to survive independently amongst ourselves, we have to know what's to come. So I see, so cause and effect. So the cause and after effect. So the initial cause is COVID-19, blah, 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 blah. So the after effect is this. I said, okay, COVID-19. People are laid off on the jobs. Kids can't go to school. In home, working from home, school from home. I say, okay. Now, at some point, they're going to open up the doors back, and this would be the perfect opportunity for them to mandate vaccinations. The only way around that is two things, and one is another right that they're trying to infringe on, which is religion, because the freedom of religion actually gets you out of the mandated vaccination. But they're trying to manipulate that. Right. So in order to put a little bit of icing on the cake and solidify that, we're gonna stand on our religious beliefs, and if our religious belief entails us just conducting business, that's our religious beliefs.
Correct.
No, smoking hemp. It's our religion. This is ceremony.
Sacramental.
This is ceremony. So it is our religious beliefs and tribal lineage and tribal affiliation.
Right.
So that's why I created it. But I created mine based on it's so deep. In relation to tribal and history and all that, and because of the time frame that I had, I decided to recreate my own and start from scratch. That way I know it from start to finish, and then I'll adopt like a state would or a government would. I'll adopt different things from different places as needed. So I'm coming through addressing the issues first. So my first issue is vaccinations, child abduction. These are issues I'm already dealing with my members. You see what I mean? So I'm addressing the issues first, and then I'll adopt as needed because I'm not the guy that want to carry around a lot of fluff and does nothing.
No, I love it, man. The not starting from scratch. I'm sorry, starting from scratch in this age of consciousness is so refreshing because everybody is trying to bring something from the past with us into this new paradigm,
into the past.
And it's nice to see someone go, I'm just going to start fresh, and then whatever I'm vibing with, we'll look at that and bring it in. But let's just start. My name is Malachi.
Everything is based on my new family name. So I created a new family name. I gave birth to a new son. He's the prince.
Right.
You see what I mean? So that's his the Prince Malachi.
Right.
We established the family crest, the flag, the birth certificates, the identification. Everything is from ground up.
Right. No, I loved it. But I was like, this is his own thing. I was like, this is alright, man. This is cool. Only person that can validate this is me. I'm the creator. I don't care what nobody else say. Facts.
Because I'm the guy, especially when I realize that I'm sitting up and having multiple meetings with all the chiefs of all these established and fairly recognized tribes that you think are ahead of schedule. They are behind schedule. Mm-hmm. A lot of them don't even know how to read and write yet. Right. So
no, I've been on some of them plantations, some of them reservations.
But you went. I was up on, but they separate that from us.
Yeah.
So I didn't know until I'm like you mean you guys are having problems with this and that, and I'm looking at all the services that we provide.
Right.
So
their numbers are as low as our numbers in pretty much every category.
Because at first I was just gonna fall up under another tribe. I say, why am I falling behind something that's not even progressing?
Right,
that makes sense.
Right, especially when they don't even want you to come in.
No, they need to fall behind us.
Right.
Because we are the new breed. We are the innovators. We see the problems. We're not stuck in history, even though we acknowledge and respect the history.
But we're moving forward. Let's go.
The game is changing right now, though.
Fact.
So how we can't be stuck on. We could have been on something last year, and we realized bro, we got to switch it up. You know what I'm saying? Because we can't be emotionally attached to things. Like, no, this is our land, brother. You can't keep saying this is our land if we allow hundreds of years to pass and then to pour concrete on top of the land in which they create and control.
Right.
Break the concrete for then talk to me.
Right.
Yeah, and that's like when I found out that Texas, the whole state of Texas is like 95% private owned land, right? And I'm like, all this land belongs to some magical entity. Like, why don't we have none of this?
Man,
you know what I mean?
It belonged to the Mauritanian races. If you listen to it, it belonged to us. That was all the Santa Ana. That was a whole thing that went down with that, and we could have a history lesson about the Alamo, the Yamasee that were over there in Mexico and the Texas area helping fight. There was a bunch of stuff going on, man. This has been great, man. I think I want to do another show that's just to dig deeper into this. We're going to be having Oh Ye Son coming up here in the 4 o'clock hour, ladies and gentlemen. Anybody got any last questions?
Mine are very long-winded.
I got quite a few. That's what we're going to have to do part 2 for sure. I wasn't ready.
Like a short question.
Now I can
like, what's his favorite
better
color?
prepare. No.
Something short.
I'm ready to prepare, you know what I'm saying?
So we can get out quick.
Right.
Like, hey, man.
Well, I just want to let you guys know I appreciate the invite.
You're gonna be back for sure.
You know, y'all got a crazy, amazing platform, and y'all doing your thing.
Appreciate it. Thank you for coming, man. Glad for you to come to the city. How often do you come to Atlanta?
Well, it's gonna be my second home.
Especially with this Corona thing kicking in heavy. You up there with Illinois?
Yeah.
Oh man, that's a democratically run state. I'm just talking about they like to be extra up there. You know, we down here.
Yeah, I know.
We festive down here.
Yeah,
you know? Atlanta, the city COVID forgot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just, it is what it is.
That's true.
We out here living in the city, man. Folks like COVID. What's COVID?
I never had a funner brunch.
Yeah, you never will. Nah, Atlanta brunches is where.
I'm like, what time the show start, bro?
Yeah. When he said y'all was going to brunch, I was like, man, they might be a little late if they going to brunch, man. Because I know I might have been.
Bro, I had to leave my food. Like, man, we be back.
What spot y'all went to?
BQ,
okay, yeah. Every time I pass by there on a Sunday, it look busy.
It ain't Atlanta if it ain't brunch, man. That's stripping and brunch. That's what we do out here, man. That's what we do. And consciousness now. It's the third export is consciousness. But all right, let's get up out of here with the general, man. I really appreciate you coming through the show.
I wish we had more time for sure, man.
Yeah. The next time you come back, we got to do it again. But it's all good. I'm sure Amir will definitely have you back up here again as soon as you land off the plane. So we're gonna do it again. Let's go ahead. You got a record, man? You got something?